Prospect 891, Engine 91, 881, Engine 81, Chief 81, Chief 91, Medic 10, EMS 1,
Riley, wake up.
East Badger Road and Nooksack Avenue,
Riley!
Delta, motor vehicle collision, high mechanism, Nooksack Road and East Badger Road, map page Delta 39, respawn V-Fire 8, 940.
One fine morning, when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on some celestial shore. I'll fly away. Fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars has flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, bye bye, I'll fly away. I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
Many of you have heard it before. Some of you have maybe been at another assembly like this one, but you have heard many times about the devastating aftermath that distracted and drunk drivers have had on thousands of families across the country, and sadly in our own very own community. Is this reverberating? Back when I attended high school, texting and driving was not a thing. Texting hadn't even been heard of. Now I see it literally every day as I drive down the road. People choosing to endanger themselves and others by sending a text message that could wait until they get to their destination, or choosing to have a couple beers at a friend's party and then drive home. Our choices are not without consequences, sometimes devastating consequences. I am a Whatcom County support officer. One of my jobs is to do death notifications. It is to notify parents that their child has been killed in a traffic collision and will never be coming home. There is no way to adequately describe the feeling when I walk up on a porch, knock on someone's front door, and wait for them to answer, knowing that in a few seconds, I will tell them the most devastating news they will ever hear. Then I have to watch them helplessly as they crumble to the floor with the news that has changed their lives forever. News that from that moment forward permanently changes who they are. On October 22nd, 2013, I received a page from 911 to respond to a fatal two-car accident on Grandview Road. When I arrived, I was informed that I would be notifying the parents of one of the drivers that their daughter had died. Their daughter's name was Angela Roderick. She had been killed by an impaired driver. As I do with every death notification, I gathered information that I knew her parents would want to know. When did it happen? Where did it happen? How did it happen? Once I had all of the information, Sergeant Flynn and I went to Angela's home, not too far from the crash scene. It was about 1 a.m., and Angela's family was sleeping. They were awakened by the doorbell ringing and answered with that all too familiar look, the look of confusion and panic when you realize that two people in uniform in the middle of the night are on your porch. It means something really bad has happened. We were invited to sit down. Saying the words, as I have so often had to do, never gets easier. The cry of a mother who has lost her child is like nothing I have ever heard before. The look on the father's face when he realizes the totality of what I have said. The despair is indescribable. Angela was a 2013 graduate of Meridian High School. She was a good student, a standout athlete, a much-loved daughter, sister, and friend. Angela's life ended because an impaired driver made a wrong, selfish choice, and her family's life and her friends' lives are changed forever. The fun is just beginning for all of you. You have spent 13 years getting here. Some of you are seniors, some may not be. My request for every single one of you is that you consider Angela's family and so many other families here in Whatcom County like them. Please, please, make the conscious choice not to drink and drive or to text and drive. I do not want to have to knock on your parents' door. Now Taylor's going to come out and end this assembly for you.
This is a statement from Henry Reese on the night of the accident. What I remember from the night of the accident, I remember a girls' basketball game that we won. I got picked up by my mom after the game, where she told me, "Hop in." Joking around, I acted like I was going to jump through the front passenger window when my mom said, "Stop goofing off and get in." I got into the front passenger seat the appropriate way, like you're supposed to. We were on our way home talking about how the girls won and how it was our ticket to districts. We turned the corner and saw the car heading straight for us. My mom said, "Wow, that guy is going to hit us." Joking around, I said, "Brace for impact," because that's what I heard in several times in movies, and everyone else ended up okay. So I stuck both my legs out under the dash, and that is why both of my legs got broken. I remember him hitting us right by the small metal rails that go to a small bridge over a tiny creek. We spun around who knows how many times. When we stopped, 2 semi-trucks flew right by us, not slowing down. After the trucks sped by, my mom was so angry. She opened the door and screamed, "You idiot, you hurt us." Then she told me that we were in an accident and that we were fine. She grabbed her phone and told me she was calling Dad, but she couldn't get a hold of my dad. She told me she was calling my aunt, who was able to get a hold of my dad. She then took her grandmother's scarf off her neck and put it around my bleeding head and held it up. The chief of police for Everson walked up to my mom's window and asked if we were okay. My mom responded, "I'm okay, but he's not." He looked over and saw that I was trapped. He grabbed his phone and called 911. Shortly after, I remember lights flashing and loud sirens as the ambulances and fire trucks pulled up. There's a guy who told Mom that we were going to have to get me out of her side, and my mom said, "I can get out just fine, but my son cannot, because he is trapped, because the dashboard is trapping him." He looked over and said, "You're right." Then he made my mom hobble to the ambulance. The next thing I remember hearing was someone yelling, "Guys, Henry's in there, get him out." As they were cutting me out, I remember my dad coming to my window and saying with his voice cracking a bit, "Henry, don't worry, you'll be fine, be strong." After hearing that, I started laughing hysterically, thinking, wow, my dad loves me. When I got out of the car, they carefully put me on a stretcher. When we got to the ambulance, they were flashing a flashlight into my eyes and asking how I was feeling. And even with all the pain I was in, I was still as goofy as always and said one word, "Ow." And that made all the people start laughing hysterically. When I got to the ambulance, I remember hearing the ambulance engine start racing, the sirens blaring. When I got to the hospital, I went through the doors that led me directly into the ER. The last thing I remember was the doctor saying, "He's going to lose the left leg and possibly the right one too." After the accident, I was in the hospital from January 30th to April 18th, where I was originally supposed to be in Seattle Children's Hospital till the end of May. As part of my recovery, I've had to do many hours of physical therapy to learn how to walk again. I had to relearn to speak clearly through hours of speech therapy and regain my cognitive abilities from hours of occupational therapy. Over a year after the accident, I am still working hard on my recovery. However, I am not improving as much as I was in the first year. One of the things I had to keep telling and reminding myself was that little effort resulted in little improvements, but persistent effort produces positive results. One thing I would like others to know and be aware of is that when you choose to consume substances such as alcohol and medications or other drugs, you're putting your own life, as well as the lives of others, of innocent people at risk. Thank you for listening to my story.
Okay, Jeannie said it well. You heard her talk about some of the things that she has had to go through, and she doesn't want that to happen to you, and neither do I, neither do any of us. And I would just repeat in closing, it can happen to you. It's easy to think that it happens to other people, but I assure you it can. Doesn't have to. Make the right decision. Before I give it back to Principal Galley, I will say that at this scene, we had an impaired driver who was also texting. And we all know that our cell phones are kind of the hub of our lives, and we're constantly getting texts, and we're constantly looking at social media and things like that. Don't do it while you're driving. I can tell you that as a traffic deputy, we respond to rear-end collisions, all kinds of collisions, all the time because of distracted driving. Sometimes it's just a fender bender. Oftentimes there's serious injuries and they're very traumatic. Don't text and drive. Inside the school, I think next to the counselor's office, right, there's a poster on the wall that it's taking a pledge. You're taking a pledge to not text and drive. I encourage all of you to stop by and sign that poster and take that pledge, make the decision that you aren't going to text and drive. With that, I'll hand it over to Principal Galley.
Thank you, Deputy Bauman. And, you know, I think the biggest thing in this scenario is it's not real, but it seems very real. And the first responders take this very seriously as if it was real, and they spend a lot of time getting ready to give us this experience. So let's give them a big hand for their job today and the job they do every day to keep us safe. Obviously, there was a real part of this too, and we are so happy that Henry, is here with us today. So let's just give Henry a hand because he's a success story. Nice job, Henry. And we all respond to things like this differently based on our own experiences and things that have impacted us in the past. So if you're feeling like this was tough and you need to talk to somebody about it, the counselors are available. And just be aware that other people deal with this differently, and just watch how you're talking about things like this or situations that you're aware of. Just be kind and thoughtful about that for the rest of the day. And again, seniors, we'll talk to you a lot over the rest of this week, but have fun, but be safe and make good decisions as the school year winds to an end. And with that, we should be ready to head back to third period and have a great final week for the seniors. Thanks, everybody.